Hey friends, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing another session on the Verve skates. So I got new shells from Echo and set them up with the old cuffs and the old sole plates. One thing that I thought was interesting was as I was taking these apart, it was actually the cuff that's really stiff. So that gave me some hope that maybe the shell doesn't have, as much stiffness as I thought, and it's all in the cuff. So today I want to kind of experiment and just see, how flexy are these with the new shell, and to see if they're going to work out for me. But, I had someone also reach out to me and say that I should try the Myfit crown liners in these skates. That's not something that I had, so I went ahead and I bought some because they seem like they would be a good candidate for filling the volume in the shell. So a couple new things to try out today, and let's go ahead and lace up and get to it. So my knee is still feeling a little tender, so I'm not gonna be pushing the boundaries on anything today. It's gonna be just trying to get a decent skate in, hitting some familiar tricks on some familiar obstacles, and seeing how everything feels. All right, hit some transition to warm up, and so far they're feeling pretty good. So, no issues with shock absorption in my knee. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and warm up on some grinds. All right, so far sole tricks are feeling really good, so I'm gonna switch ledges. All right, top sides are feeling really good. I'll talk about why I think that's happening here in a minute, but I want to hit just a couple different ledges and rails because I'm feeling pretty good right now. All right, let's go ahead and hit some coping. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about today's session. As far as flex goes, this is probably the most amount of flex I've had in these skates with offering support. So, I think the crown liners could be a good fit, but given that these are only the first session into them, I don't really know how they're going to break in over the long run. Something I'm just gonna keep an eye on. I think the reason why they are flexier is because the cuff of these liners is thicker and it's got like a memory foam. So what happens is it means you can keep that plastic cuff a little looser, and that means you got a lot more give in the liner, which compensates for how stiff the cuff is. As far as shock absorption, overall, I thought the shock absorption was really good in these. I did come up short on that bank to down ledge and had a pretty good, hard landing. And, I felt that kind of in the front of my foot. So I don't know that these are going to be great for doing big drops and gaps for me anyway. And then, one thing I started to notice towards the end of the session is I think because, the liners have heated up and, started to pack in a little, I didn't redo my laces, but I feel my foot kind of hitting the front of the skate. So that just tells you how performance fit these skates are. And swapping the liner, I probably should have just tightened them up mid-session. but you know, overall it wasn't like painful slams like what I was experiencing on the first session with the stock liners and the neoprene toe. So I think what I'll do is, you know, I'm very familiar with this park, so I know like how everything skates and balances. So I think what I want to do is take these out for one more session to a park that I don't skate very often, and you know, do just kind of a follow-up to give the liners another session and just see how these skate overall. But I had a lot of fun today, and you know, I really do want to say thanks to Echo for sending me replacement shells, because I think that speaks highly of a company when they stand behind a product, even if there may be some flaws in it, to make it right with people who bought it. You know, so because of that, I felt like I wanted to give these a good chance. And you know, they're a good skate, they're a good company. They just didn't check all the boxes for me based on my preference, and took just a lot of adjustments to get them to a place that skates in my style. So that's been my biggest frustration. It's not necessarily aimed at the skate, it's what I had to do to the skate to get it to work for me. Hope that makes sense. But thanks all for checking in, and we'll catch you next time. All right, so I'm back for day 2 in the replacement Echo Verve shells. I'm just gonna hit a few tricks today on a quick lunch break. All right, well, that's a wrap for today. I spent about 45 minutes skating today, and I was pretty stiff from skating the last couple days, so just took it kind of easy. You know, overall, the skate, I don't really notice a difference with the new shell versus the old, which supports my theory that it's the cuff that's stiff, which is good. You know, I really like the way that the crown liner feels and fits the skate. My only problem so far is that because the cuff of the liner is so thick, it's pushing my toes into the end of the shell, and I was hoping that would break open a little more today. But I think what I'll do is just throw some like sticky foam tape at the front of the shell, and that should give me some more padding for the next session.
Hello, I'm Amelia.
All right, so we're back for day 3 with the Myfit crown liners and the replacement Echo shells. So let's talk about the Myfit Crown 2 liners real quick. So lengthwise they're about the same as the second skin. They do come with a shock absorber that kind of stops mid-foot. I personally don't like that in a raised heel boot, so I swapped them out with the dead shock absorber. The mid-foot and the cuff and tongue area are a little padded, a little more padded to fill up volume in a skate, which is really nice. I would say that the cuff is maybe just equal to or maybe like a tad thicker than the prime liner, but you have a much more padded tongue, and then you've got a shock absorber or insole that comes with it too. All right, well, that's a wrap for my first 3 sessions on the replacement shells on the Verve skates with the Myfit Crown 2 liners. So overall, I don't know that I'm gonna get any more flex out of these skates. It's really hard for me to get boot down on anything flat. And then, if I'm skating something that's kind of at a down angle, it's a little easier for me. But with my knee being sore, it's just really tight, and I'm feeling that today still. So I really appreciate Echo sending it to me. I just don't know that it's going to offer the flex that I like in skates. As far as the liner goes, it feels really good. It's soft, it's plushy, but still firm and gives like a good amount of responsiveness. The Myfit Prime liners, I always had to heat mold them because they give me blisters. I haven't had that experience with these yet. The only thing is, because it does have more padding than what the stock liners are or some of the other liners I've tried, it is still pushing my toes to the front of the skate a little bit. It's not super painful because I did put some like foam tape on the inside of the toe, but I definitely do feel it, and it's less predominant today than it has been in the last couple of sessions. So I'm confident that if I continue to skate these, I will get some more room within the shell. The only thing you can't really create is additional flex. So that's kind of my thoughts on where the replacement shells and trying with different liners are. All right, well, I appreciate you all for watching. If you got any questions, comments, feel free to drop me a line. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks all for checking in, and we'll catch you next time.